here, Z-Rock.
Yeah, I really am.
Reserve time.
Sticking with the TD ban, but they do shift it up. When you lose a game, usually one hero from the last one tends to fall in the first phase bans. It will be Darkseer falling on the axe this time. And Vega going back to the Warlock. Can they change the O2 curse?
That's the plan here. You know, it's as you mentioned, he's 0-2 in the series. I don't know if that's necessarily been the cause of the losses by any means, but Vega Squadron is gonna make him priority this time around, though. And I know you're kind of talking about the end there, and perhaps he is a little overhyped amongst teams. I do agree. However, at the same time, he still is a strong support. So I'm not too surprised to see Vega Squadron going with him as heavy priority here with that first pick. And, you know, just about getting that also synergy, the follow-up to the Chaotic Offering, I think, is a key as well. If you kind of just get more single-target focus, I mean, that could work out. But, you know, really seeing that Wombo combo come out is a thing of beauty. So
yeah. And while Navi had the idea of it last game, the goal was to get the Chaotic Offering into an Overgrowth, and then Dendy just goes ham with a bunch of spells and throws a ton of damage into it. But Dendy kind of fell behind in the early game, went a very defensive itemization, and struggled to get damage off on multiple heroes and get that burst out there. Now, I do want to point out Abaddon has been totally absent from this series. I still think it's a premium offlaner, and has been, for the most part, ignored. So with Navi picking up something with a bunch of CC already between the Tree Dance, Primal Spring, Boundless Strike, I'm wondering if we won't see that come out of Navi. It's super strong. You've got some CC and one support already, so you don't necessarily need it from the offlane role. I would personally like to see it come out just for a bit of change of pace.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if that's something of interest. But, you know, the fact that the hero wasn't even referred to in both of the first two games is distressing. It's like, I don't know if he's going to be seen here right now. Maybe just either team is the most comfortable with him. But he is a very popular one across the board, so that would be a little bit surprising to see just completely left out. But, yeah, Navi is going to be what you expect to be the offlane choice for them. So keep up some
I mean, it more than likely will be. Batrider, okay, so teams are kind of figuring out how to use Bat again. They're figuring out that you need a lot of damage on the back end of the lasso. He's not going to win his lane like he did in the Batrider Hell era where he was winning tri-lanes by himself. But he is still an effective offlaner, especially provided that you can get the lasso on the Warlock pre-offering or on the mid laner, something important. You just got to make it so that you have enough damage to kill whoever you lasso. So I'm expecting something fairly high damage coming out of Navi. And what that's going to be, it could be a number of things. I'm still kind of baffled. I would say Dendy Shadow Fiend is a strong potential here. Pairs well with the Monkey King in just setting up zone control so that he's a little bit protected and can maybe get off a good Requiem. A lot of bursts to just try to shotgun down a lasso target, especially in the early game with the Shadow Races being super strong. So definitely look towards that. We usually see it go away in the second phase if something kind of says, hey, they may Shadow Fiend here. The downside to that is it'd be extremely vulnerable to Tusk. Vega, we saw Tusk use super effectively at the start of the first game, but then kind of just got outpaced. Vega picking up the LC, though. This was Navi's ban the first two games. This is the one they swapped Darkseer out for. So we'll have to see. They kind of got premium picks in the Warlock and the LC here. And now the question is, can they form a coherent team around it?
Yeah, you know, the Tusk pick, I'm kind of going back to that real quickly. He's been fun to watch with it. He is a good Tusk player, but they're 0-3 with this hero lately. They went 0-2 with it against Alliance. They ran it both in the first and the third game, which were losses, and then they ran it here in game one of this series against Navi. So, you know, there gets to a point where I do think you have to kind of respect a stat like that, and I don't think it's just coincidence that he's 0-3 in these last three games with them.
What about the Warlock not winning a game stat?
I mean, that's just
respect that.
See, this is one team running it over a 2-day span. I mean, the Warlock just in back-to-back games happening to be.
And to be fair, Vega 2-0'd with the Warlock in the first series, so
yeah,
they did win with it. It just feels like a caster curse thing for me. I think I've seen one Warlock win out of any game I've casted, and I've casted probably 40, 50 since Gab.
One
But
Warlock
the Phoenix
team.
pickup, that is a Phoenix pickup. Without a tree, without really any coverage for the egg to actually keep it safe. You've got Boundless Strike, sure. You're not going to lasso someone to make sure an egg goes off. So this is the other idea. The last time we saw Phoenix picked in one of our games, I remember mentioning this. The idea is you just dive in, you supernova, and you understand you're going to die. You understand you're not going to get the egg off. But you want to put them in a position where if they kill the egg, then they're sitting on top of Wukong's command. They're sitting on top of Firefly. They're taking so much damage they can't win the fight. And that's going to be the question is, can Na'Vi draft enough zone damage and enough burst that if Phoenix dives in and eggs, can they kill people off the back of it?
Yeah.
And Weaver is a very good pickup in both a Phoenix answer, because it can kill the egg very quickly with Geminate, as well as the time-lapse being a nice recovery tool just to say, oh, I got caught. Let's fix this. The actual hard CC out of Na'Vi right now is not the longest durations. Boundless Strike only 1.6 seconds. Sure, you have Lasso, but Weaver's going to be going Lincoln's first or second item, and makes it very, very difficult to get a Lasso off on a Weaver before he time-lapses or even just Shikuchis and runs away.
That's going to be the plan here. So Na'Vi kind of focusing more on that side of things. Again, having that lock that we stressed in that first game as we saw. And, well, there we go, actually. Storm Spirit had free reign in that first game in the hands of Dendi because of the lack of lockdown on the other side. This time, it's already a little different. I mean, LC brings another presence, of course, but you could argue, again, once he gets that Lincolns, he's actually going to be pretty mobile here in this game. So it's going to be interesting to see, again, what Vega's now final pick is. Going in that they need a middle option here, you figure now, with that to go up against the Storm Spirit. So will they get versus to lockdown?
I would say Lina's a very strong option. We know they play it. We know it's a very good matchup into Storm pre-6 especially, like insanely good matchup pre-6. The only issue is we saw Dendi just pop off in game 1 on Storm. And all of your lockdown, once Storm hits 11, is too slow. Dendi can actually ult away from any of the skills that are currently on Vega once he has level 2 Ball Lightning. So we'll have to see. Even Blink Duel is actually not that fast. If Dendi has quick enough reaction time, then we'll be in okay shape. Yeah. Now, I will say this is one of those situations where if this was a LAN environment, I'd be saying Storm is more likely to do exceptionally well. But they are playing from their respective countries on the Luxembourg servers. They're not a zero ping. And that does pose a bit of an issue if you're trying to react on somebody like Storm.
It's kind of an interesting idea right there on that topic real quick. It's the idea that online, you could argue you're going to play, maybe your strategy could change a little bit because of said heroes as you're going out with the Storm Spirit, where that reaction time is that much more important.
Puck, Slardar, and Rubik, probably the 3 biggest heroes that on LAN go up like an entire tier list.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing on zero ping, Puck is just disgusting. He can dodge so much with phase shift, combo into things a lot better, buffer blinks out of phase, and just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Rubik for an instant spell steal is just insane. So yeah, the ping actually is something to think about during drafts, and there's a reason certain picks are picked more often at LAN.
Lycan, the final pick here for Na'Vi. We're gonna see Lycan again. I'm liking the Lycan.
I'm coming around to it. It depends on what he does here. So I'm more of a fan of the skip wolves entirely Lycan that we've seen some teams start doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can be a great scouting tool. They can give you a lot of info. You already have Monkey King for that. I would like to see him just go the brawly, Max Howl, Feral Impulse to survive the lane. Like, just come out with the ultimate right at 7 or 8 and just try to tear through everything.
Yeah, it's been fun to see that build again. The idea of the Howl too, as far as the synergy for the team, is so powerful. And this goes back to what I do bring up with the Lycan whenever we happen to see him is where it's. Not that, again, Howl in general on any hero is going to be very useful. It's going to be powerful for the laning phase. It's just going to be a good ability. But do they have a hero that really can benefit from it with the right clicks? I mean, Storm Spirit definitely does a fair amount of right clicking, so there is that. But, outside of him, I guess Monkey King, you could argue, is going to benefit it from as well. But they're off laners, not necessarily. There's the Lina, as you did point out. Sure enough, coming out here. So,
yeah. Bring this guy to a panel. He's best draft analyst 2017. Nah, this is a pretty obvious pick. It is so strong into this Navi lineup. It tears through Phoenix Egg with Fiery Soul. It should body Storm Spirit without a ton of help. And if you look at the help, right, it's going to pretty much be on Monkey King trying to just beat Lina with his bat. And I don't know if that's going to stand up to Tusk. Like, Seema put a ton of pressure on the early game. Actually did very, very well in game 1 on the Tusk in the first 5-10 minutes.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, this is going to be it, guys. Game number 3, again, elimination game for both of these teams here. Backs against the wall. Who will move on to face another CIS team in Empire in the playoff stage, and who will be done here? Well, we're going to find out here. Coming up next year as the game loads in. Again, the playoff stage, by the way, too, it's kind of a reset of sorts in the sense that it's another double elimination phase, actually. So it's kind of, nice to get to that point and then kind of have a breather of sorts, but only one of those 4 teams then advancing on to the main event, of course. That $100,000 Summit 7 LAN coming here, so.
Yeah, and just to kind of give a little background on the way Summit is as a tournament, right? This tournament isn't the biggest prize pool, guys. It's not, but it pulls consistent T1 teams every single time they run it because teams love it.
Yeah. It's
a nice way to go chill. You get to go see people. It's a very fun, relaxed atmosphere. And they try to carry that atmosphere through everything they do. There's a reason we're rescheduling our games here, that we're moving our schedule around. They want to make this a relaxing break from the competitive scene for the players while still giving you guys a great tournament. And I'm not endorsed by BTS to say this. I've just watched every Summit. I love the environment, the way they're throwing random players on the panel.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It's definitely one of my favorite tournaments of the year.
So there's that selling point for the players to be interested in as well, but it's still $100,000. Like, that's still actually a fair amount of money. So there's that's just kind of the nice cherry on top. But I do agree with you. It kind of has that unique feel. Similar to a Dream League, I feel. Dream League's also kind of that more laid-back environment, more of a fun. But, yeah, even more so at the Summit. It truly is just a casual, anyone that's watched it before knows it's in the house of theirs, and they're just literally lounging on the couch as the casters, and you're just hanging out, all the teams at the house there. So it's a fun event. Yeah. You got the invited teams, Virtus Pro, VGJ, actually, and Secret was recently announced here. And then Clutch Gamers out of Southeast Asia actually qualifying, the first qualifying team so far. That's a team, by the way, that's on a tear lately. They're things out of Southeast Asia over there.
I'm going to be honest. I've never seen any of those players, really. Gabby, I've heard the name a few times. I've seen him when he was on Execration was the big one. But for the most part, like, as far as what I've seen, they've just been a bunch of guys that grouped up and, on a tear. Because that was not an easy qualifier by any means.
No, I've been stressing lately that I think Southeast Asia is raising up quickly as far as becoming a very, very good contention of teams and a difficult region at that. But anyways, we see General right here. He's got this ability called Firefly. He's like, I don't care.
I like this ability called Mischief from Monkey King. He's running around as a baby Pudge courier.
Where is he? He is right here. He is a baby Pudge.
What the? Holy bravery!
It almost felt like troll-like of sorts. He's kind of just running in.
Yeah, well, there's actually a goal to it, right? If he can run over to that creep wave and pull G's attention, he can make G miss the block. And that actually matters a lot in this matchup, in getting Dendy. Yeah, because look at Dendy's block here. It was so good. And now he has hill advantage. So this gets some of the early pain away from Dendy, getting him closer to bottle relatively safely. G doesn't want to let him, though. Oh, missing a creep because of uphill miss. What a shame.
Oh, boy. Well, G versus
I'm not getting into that tangent.
Dendy, we've had that conversation before. Oh, look at this top lane, Monkey King. More so. Pudge Courier. Got to be scared.
He has Jingu Mastery stacked there now, so he's doing a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah, he chose to get that first. We see Monkey Kings have been interesting to kind of see the different style of builds as he's more and more evolved here on the scene.
I take what I please.
And he does choose to get that passive first, as you pointed out. Allows for a great laning presence as far as harassment goes.
Yeah, and that explains why you went a poor man's first on too, just so he can take those hits and try to make the trades. The big nerf to it, though, is that the lifesteal got nerfed so hard on it. So you can't really just get to 4 and assume you're going to be full health coming out the other end at level 1. And he's not in trouble here, but he's going to take a lot of pressure.
Seneko, he's dropping a half-life. Meanwhile, Legion Commander switches targets, going after the Phoenix and also farming the jungle creeps in the meantime. Orb Venom on LC
Now
is doing a
he's in
lot of
some
work.
trouble.
He is in a lot of trouble indeed. Seneko just has to keep on running, maybe get some kind of support, but again, they don't really have crowd control up at this top lane. Between Phoenix, Monkey, and Lycan, it's just all, we can hit hard, but not really CC you at all. They have to fall back, Monkey King does, and LC just feels confident as far as even jungling over here, and he gets the bounty rune. I mean, this 2 versus 3 is actually favoring Vega Squadron quite a bit, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, good start to the laning phase. This dual lane Warlock LC is just so oppressive. It does a lot. So, definitely curious to see how it scales, though. That tends to always be the issue.
We have Lycan holding his ground, but LC, again, not afraid to run at him. Moment of courage, Prox. Coming out there as well, and knows that Phoenix can't do too much. He's usually helping, going back to that idea. Tusk, by the way, he had to pour it out. He was pretty deep right there. Got found by a couple of heroes, the Sporting Cast and Bat Rider, but he poured it out in time, so we remain without a first blood here as a result, but okay, never mind. Now we have a first blood top lane as Phoenix goes down. Is that Fatal
The
Bonds?
zero armor Phoenix. I mean, it's just zero armor and Uven boots on Legion. Bonds ended up closing it,
Yeah.
I believe, but after the dive. But yeah, he just takes so much damage.
Ooh, middle lane, meanwhile, Tusk goes down.
That's
Dendi right
huge.
there.
That is insanely big because now Dendi is actually in an okay spot. He's actually ahead of this Lina in CS just because of the waves sitting on his high ground like this the whole time. But this was going to get really rough here for him in a level or two. Now he's pretty comfortable.
Middle lane.
Needs this bottle though.
Monkey King setting up. Primal Spring in. There's a balanced strike. Can he stay close enough? He absolutely can. In fact, Dendi gets credit for the kill right there, staying just in range and secures it. Obviously, the Ice Shard's not enough to save nor set up the turn kill. As Monkey King gets up to the trees and is going to sit around for the 4-minute bounty rune. No. Warlock will see him and
Snowball in on Dendi.
going for it, but Zima, does he have enough
got
himself?
shards.
Maybe a Phoenix Slave, yep, or Dragon Slave even going to come through and will be enough, actually.
Yeah, good job holding the shards there though. He wanted to just get the Uv slow a little bit and wait until Lina got closer, making sure that the LSA was going to connect. Nicely done. I will say Dendi is still one of the few pros to bottle crow. Like, no one does this anymore.
Why do you think that is?
Well, no one does it because it takes a courier for like a whole minute. The courier, when there's an empty bottle on it, gets slowed to almost no move speed. So it just takes forever. Team needs items. But for him, it's just, I mean, A, it's habit, I think. And B, the team does kind of revolve around him to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And so they're fine giving up the courier use for him to try to give him a little better laning phase.
Well, LC continues to be pretty aggressive down here at the bottom lane. Obviously, had the assistance of that kill at least up here in 24-3 now CS. But Lycan continues to farm very well as well. 28, 9-7 now is going that more of what we've seen build lately, the Howl and the Feral Impulse, passing up the Wolves as mentioned. Going to pressure him as well at the top lane, but meanwhile down here, Silent is picked off on the Warlock as Monkey King and Storm Spirit come together. Storm Spirit level 6. Snowball's going to miss right there. Will he down the tree, but he got off of it just in time, so he won't take the stun, but he is still going to be comboed down, and Lina getting credit for the kill there. So
I was wondering how that interaction was going to work if you snowballed a Monkey King while he was going up to a tree. So Snowball stops in front of the target. It doesn't go through the target, so it doesn't actually knock him off the tree. It'll just break right in front of it, which is kind of unfortunate. I was wondering if that was going to work. Good to know going forward.
Okay, well, LC taking some good pressure again by the press the attack, keeping him up. And he's even going to Shadow Word heal just in case. But double damage bottom lane. See, it's being pinged out. Lina heading over. She does have her bottle.
And she's gonna not quite get it here. General's too fast.
Yeah, Bat Rider gets there in time. In fact, Seema's going to get caught out now as well. Flame break pushback even. The snowball into them though, and Weaver is coming over with that swarm apply. So they do get the kill on a Tusk, but now General has to Firefly over the ledge.
Yeah, the TP out there from Seneko is entirely just respecting the Laguna, realizing Lena's 6, that the burst damage is there. Good choice just to get out. If Lena was say 5 there, I think Navi just sits and fights that out.
So chose to be safe with it. Biver, meanwhile, on that Phoenix. Got a little scared there as he saw LC and Warlock running at him, but he's hugging the tower, so they're not going to commit that far. No duel just yet on LC. Be able to lock him down here.
So Weaver top of the last hit chart, that is fairly expected. I would just want to say Lycan's keeping up incredibly well for the pressure that LC put on early. Only 4 CS down. They are going to make a dive in on him. Shapeshift committed, but Biver in trouble.
Yeah, Biver goes down pretty quickly right there, underestimating even the damage return. However, they will still be able to chase down the LC, so basically almost plays kind of a bait of sorts in the long run. Still a favorable trade, but
It's a bait, it's Navi favored. He still gave up a kill to an offlaner in a 1v3.
Yeah.
That just never feels good.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
second time they've been able to get that kill onto the Phoenix again. So it's plenty
I'm
of
just
time.
wondering at what point this Phoenix is going to do anything. They're not giving him a ton of pull experience. They're not giving him a ton of levels.
Dire's bottom
And
tower is under attack.
it's going to be a long time before Egg comes online. Like, we're probably looking 12, 13 minutes.
Well, 8 minutes into the game right now, so another rune's going to be spawning. So he manages to get this one. Monkey King versus Warlock now middle lane. That's a different matchup there. They find themselves leeching some experience while the actual mid-heroes are elsewhere. Storm Spirit currently jungling, and Lena, he's smoked up heading towards the top lane again. Has that Laguna Blade. Level 4 Dragon
Yeah, I don't know if they're
Slave.
going to be expecting Denny to be this close, but Denny's turn potential is very low without the Monkey here.
Oh, he gets the duel off, though. Laguna Blade, I'm sure, going to be committed to this. Is it going to be in time, though? They do not get the victory. Will they even get the kill? Pycat remaining alive. The How comes out. Not enough to survive, but they will buy the turn kill time. As you mentioned, Denny happened to be nearby. Ports in, gets one kill. Going to go for another. Lena, though, going to try to take out Phoenix in return. So support for support, eye for an eye. Yes, Denny will finish the job there on the Tusk. So it ends up being the 1-for-1
Dire's middle tower is
at the
under
top
attack.
lane,
Bloody.
bottom lane.
And bot, yeah.
He should be good.
Yeah, the Weaver built a ton of early game. Full Aquila, full wand, a raindrop. It's very, very hard to bring this Weaver down.
Yeah. And he does have that time lapse just in case, so going to be fine
He has
here.
mana. He's a little
True.
low on mana. All right, I like this much better. You give Biver mid lane, get him 6. You need this egg online. Like, Phoenix is so level dependent, and it's been suffer for him in the top lane.
Yeah, so they're trying to leech that experience. We've seen this happen in several times. I mean, again, the fact that Warlock's here too, also trying to get level 6 ASAP. He just chosen not to get the upheaval earlier on, by the way. I haven't been paying attention to that in this series necessarily, but again, I've noticed that several series as of late, we've seen Warlocks maybe even level up that upheaval or at least get 1 point in early, but
Neither of them had it by 7 last game. I
Okay.
didn't take a look as to what point specifically they got it, but yeah. I know last game it went max bonds into max Shadow Word, so. Got 3 points in Shadow Word already. Looking more for the sustain.
Lycan has the Mask of Madness pattern at least.
Almost there.
It's that,
You go the patterns, you don't need to use the courier later. You can just grab it
Dire's
from the
middle
side
tower
shop.
is under
True.
attack.
Tusky's going to make it out of here before they look to get a good jump on
Oh,
him.
they want to go. Like, he's trying to find a way into the Phoenix.
Yeah, it'd be pretty risky, though, especially, again, with Denny nearby, level 10. He's ready to react if need be, so not going to be the case there. So going to go over to the Bounty Rune. Well, actually, Batrider's going to pick it up, but Batrider level 8, almost level 9, actually, and he's almost got his, in fact, he has his drums finished now. Going to be delivered. She's going to get the drums here.
So the drums are, if you feel like you can do something in lane, you can kind of oppress the game a little bit. So I would expect him to rotate out of this Weaver lane, because his skill potential is almost 0 on it. A rotation into mid here once he grabs these drums could be
Oh,
huge. There's the
chaotic
first
offering
chaotic
in
offering of the game.
response. Nice ice path right there as well. Blocking down Pycat and the Laguna Blade to finish the job. So the Ice Shards of Tusk right there doing a great placement. Kind of stutter stepped him. I mean, even though he's so fast,
Dire's middle
doesn't
tower
matter if he's
is
being
under
blocked
attack.
in.
Dire's
Now with the
structures
chaotic
are
offering, enough
fortified.
damage to get the kill, and they're going to use this Warlock Gold to now push that tier 1 middle tower. On
Yeah,
top of
if
it.
they get the T1 and a Lycan off the first golem, that's incredible. That's everything you could ever hope for out of a Warlock at 11 minutes into the game. Navi's not ready to give this up, though.
No. I mean, Lycan is back up. He wouldn't have Shapeshift, though, for 70 seconds. That's kind of key. He does have Hal, however. Going to pop it right off the bat. Supernova in the back lines with that Wukong's command. But you see the Radiant here. They're just full-on retreating right here. Or attempt to do Flame Break. Will push back a little bit. Warlock is going to get picked off. As a Sunray coming through as well, trying to heal them up. But now the tool's activated. They take out Storm Spirit. It's a 2-for-1, but killing Storm Spirit is pretty big. General's also getting low. Fatal Pawns spreading that damage. Down goes Monkey King, and down goes the Bat Rider as well. A 3-for-2 is how to land, and definitely much more important heroes killed out by Vega and Piper.
One. He was at one.
Wow. Yeah, it's regenning now, but one life surviving there at the end.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh,
they chose to try.
Yeah, you gotta try.
More so Na'Vi in that fight, and Shapeshift isn't up just yet either again, and now Pycat being found. Here we go, Seneko, though, going to assist. You see the snowball activated, though, from Tusk, simply trying to help him survive and also still set up this kill. But the Sigil, maybe to slow them down enough, not going to happen. He will eventually get picked up. Meanwhile, G, he's dealing with this Bat Rider. He goes down. The Laguna play not enough either. And so Lina gets picked off, and Na'Vi actually almost having a last laugh moment here.
All right, that's a one-word fight. Howl. Like, jeez. The extra HP gain, that damage, they just chunked everybody in that fight. That was nuts. It's nighttime, 50 bonus damage, 400 bonus health, kept Pycat alive and allowed him to basically 3-shot the Tusk.
Strong ability, man. Especially this early on in the game, yeah. It's the plus 50 damage across the board is insane.
Yeah, it's really nuts on Bendy. As soon as his Bloodstone comes online with Max Howl, Storm needs mana regen to do his stuff, to be Storm Spirit. But if you add damage into it, his ganking power goes up so much. Like, the Lina is definitely solo killable from him as soon as that Bloodstone comes online. You just howl and chunk him. Shapeshift committed bottom, though.
Yeah, they want this kill on Warlock. He has a golem. Unless he has TPs coming in, though, not going to be worth it. So, yeah, he'll just accept death. The sound going off right there, but I think there's just a bit of a troll at the end. So, nice find from Na'Vi again.
That's the Mask of Madness reveal on Lycan. Just picked that up. So, this is the point where he's feeling good. He wants to run at you, play super aggressive, going armlet next, too.
Storm Spirit, meanwhile, he's blocked in. Good find here onto him, but he's going to be able to Ball Lightning away, and he also assists for the kill at the last second onto Lino there as he's flying on through with that Vortex. So, well played by Dendy.
Yeah, they thought Lina was going to be able to be there. Seneko was sitting in the trees, and the Boundless Strike just made it so the Laguna couldn't come in time. And without that damage, yeah, nice swing for Na'Vi.
Meanwhile, Storm gets a deny on the tower, and Bat Rider still nearby, but he's going to start running away now. Again, has those drums. Has used a couple of charges so far, but the Blink Dagger is coming next. 1,400 gold saved up right here. So, meanwhile, at the bottom lane, though, Pycat, he's been pushing it in. He does have the Howl ready to go. Again, it is still nighttime.
Who they're
TP in. Off the Mask of Madness. He's going to take some damage here from Lina. Meanwhile, at the top lane, it looks like General does go down, but keeping it on the bottom lane, Lina. Is she dead for sure? One more attack. Yes, she is.
Legion kept the port. Oh, jeez.
Too strong. Yeah, he still went in. Really wanted to save
I thought they were
teammate.
just going to stand there and oof-slow him right away to start that. The duel is still down. But, yeah. Huh. Playing a little reserved on the Na'Vi side. A little rarity for them.
To be fair, could have been more ports that they just didn't see.
Could have been. Seneko could have gotten up in the trees and looked, though. So they are going to bring down the T1 bottom here. We've got Aloha Dance trying to chip away at the top tower here.
Oh,
and he's lassoed.
Lassoed backwards. Now Phoenix, though, has that Supernova going down. It's not going to hit, though. Does a good job of Shikuching on out of there. And he'll manage to survive, so yeah, good attempt between the Na'Vi players there.
Imagine if you could force staff the egg. That'd be so insane.
To move it, yeah. That'd be interesting. General, they're going to go on him now. Swarm applied. Here comes a Walrus Punch follow-up from Tusk. Although the Sunray heal is doing a bit right here. It's going to be enough to save him. Absolutely not. Winner for the LC in the end. And
it did just enough to get Afterlife at duel.
That's true. Hindsight probably didn't want that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, that's another victory for LC. That's a second win already. Not too bad. Take a look at the net worth here. 6,900 net worth for Dendy here. Leading the charts is the Bloodstone. It's on its way.
As soon as he buys it. Well, he's still got to get the energy booster, I guess.
Yeah, with the power.
Getting very, very close.
Bottom lane, Monkey King. He is going to be going to the Basher as soon as possible. And again, it's such a strong item on this hero. That Wukong's command, synergy.
You can tell he's feeling good. Like, he just sees G and starts pinging, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Gotta kill him again. G's had 4 deaths. Yeah, 6 kills. Done very, very well. But just feels like has been getting shut down the last, like, 3-4 minutes. Do they see Seneko here?
Well, he's going to open with the Wukong's command. You see the FPS drop as a result. Lena nearly dies off the bat, but she gets to press the attack, and then the duel comes out. Laguna Blade in the face of Monkey King, so immediate revenge. It is going to be enough for the kill from LC. That's the 3rd victory now for him. And a Bat Rider in the background. Lasso already used on cooldown. Weaver's chasing. Might need to be looking to use that time lapse, though, if he goes too far here.
Dendy in.
Dendy is going in. What else is new? He wants to kill this Warlock. Chaotic offering not back up. Wouldn't have mana for it anyways. And he is going to be run down. No, press the attack comes out. And now Dendy may be overstepping his boundaries. He gets the kill, but it comes at a cost of the 1-for-1 right there.
That's where you just question marks and says, team? Do you guys not want to come assist there? But yeah, no, that was a ton of sustain between Shadow Word and press the attack. Just so hard to bring somebody down on your own. It wasn't nighttime, so Howl wasn't super buffed. Just not quite enough damage.
Armlet finished on Lycan, though, so now he's got that battle build ready. He's definitely ready to pick some fights here.
They've definitely got a slight edge now until this LC Blade Mail. LC's had a very solid start. Has Blink already. Blade Mail and another 700 gold. There's another duel coming out. Shouldn't get a win out of this,
think
though.
he's going to win, though, but yeah, we'll get the kill. So,
that's where Phoenix really shines. Those Fiery Spirits just really shut down duels.
Oh, yeah, didn't even think about it that way. It's I guess you could say, I don't want to say it's a counter pick by any means, but
it's a soft counter.
It's a nice tool to have.
Yeah, it's a direct impact to a skill, but it's not a reason to pick it necessarily.
Yeah. Lena, oh boy, this was 4 hits. I want to say, like so much damage from Lycan. He's gonna howl right here, chasing with the wolves. Good job sending out the wolves. A chaotic offering. They want this turn kill on a Pycat. He just comes out of shapeshift. The timing is real. However, the sun ray from a distance will keep him alive. Yeah, the ice shard's on the wrong side, and he will be fine. But yeah, chaotic offering committed for that. I mean, it did save Lena, you could argue.
Yeah,
do not get the turn.
It's not quite enough. It was so close just dropping G there again. I figured Seneko would be there again. He just loves to hunt G.
Yeah.
So the race to Bloodstone is won by the Storm Spirit by about 1,000 gold. So he will have that online. Look to this next team fight here for Navi because it's going to be critical. If Dendy can get a couple kills and not die in a super good position, but if he gets locked down by this brand new Blade Mail on LC and gets Laguna, it could be crippling for Navi.
Yeah. Lena's moving around with not much life here, and there's no shrine use. It's gone cooldown for much longer. She gets her Bloodstone, so, but, oh, actually, meanwhile, off to the side, Tendy is going to find Afterlife, and there we go. There's +1 charge already coming, and now they're going to go for Roshan. As I said, Lena, she's not really set to fight either, so she's in the area, but I don't know if they want to
Chaotic Offerings down, LC's dead. You don't fight this. This is a Lost Aegis. Oh, man.
Yeah, you don't fight this, you think? Well, Vega Squadron has a different idea. They want to fight this, at least stall this as long as possible is the plan.
Is the Weaver that scary to them?
Apparently. Monkey just running in. This is what I was worried about, though, for Lena. She decides to stick around the area, and that's an easy kill. With even full life, though, at that point, she's probably dead.
Yeah, Dendy gets in range, too, for another Bloodstone charge. I mean, Vega is holding this Roche pretty well.
Well, the payoff in the end. Supernova committed right here. They're pulling on a Warlock, so he's going to end up falling. Supernova won't hit anyone, but again, it zones them out. It does its job in a sense. And you see Afterlife trying to catch General right there. But
well, they're going to get the duel off this if Navi is not ready to go right back in. This has to be now.
Wow, G just went down again in the backless as he poured it in. Seneko picks him off on the Monkey King. There we go. Roshan is killed, and the Aegis is picked up, actually, by the Weaver right there on the Radiant side, but his teammates are dying around him. The Aegis is probably going to be used off the bat. No, he has a time lapse even, but he is limping away barely. Sakuchi on through, and he will get on out of there. I mean, that was such a huge commitment, but they do steal the Aegis and the kill.
They do. Yep. So 1,000 gold there, and they get the Aegis. And, I mean, all in all, you're pretty happy with that if you're Vega. You were going to give that up for free. The big downside is losing G right after the Bloodstone. Like, look at G's Bloodstone charges.
I don't know if they're so happy, man. Like that, getting the Aegis is nice, but there was so many deaths. 2 deaths on Lena. Everyone else died around them. You mentioned the Bloodstone had 5 charges.
You can almost say, though, that Lena's deaths were unrelated to it. She was going to be farming out that Bloodstone in the jungle, and she was already there. She was finishing that either way. And with how aggressive Seneca was, they went on her before she even looked at the Roche pit. I mean, she was still up on her secret shop. The second one, yeah, was positioned because of the Roche, but that could have gone so much worse. At least Weaver got the Roche kill and got the Aegis. Like, Dendi went in to steal. He was close. Yeah. He was in the pit when Roche died. If they'd gotten the kill on Weaver there and took the Aegis, Navi's up 6,000 gold right now.
Yeah, like, so I guess that's a way to look at it, is that it could have been much worse for Vega even, but yeah, the idea.
All right, I saw one of the casters talking about this in a game I was watching yesterday. There's some stat that when an offlaner is super ahead of another offlaner, the team with the winning offlaner tends to lose.
It's kind of interesting. Well, we're going to find one of the offlaners go. The offlaner's actually going at it, sure enough. The duel's activated on to Batrider, but in the back lines, I see the Laguna Blade was used on a Monkey King, but not nearly enough for the kill. The Supernova goes off, and actually LC is the one to fall right there. I don't think he gave up a victory, but he goes down. Down goes Lena as well as Warlock, and I see Weaver in the midst of this Wukong's command. He just gets locked down. You mentioned that Basher picked up by Monkey King, clearly doing the work. Weaver comes back up after the Aegis. He still has a time lapse as well, as Batrider and Phoenix are dead on the other side, but Monkey King, he's hopping around the trees right here. Ice Shards are going to miss, unfortunately, and now Tusk, that's going to lead to his death. Maybe set up a kill on a Monkey King, though. Not going to happen, and now, Aloha. He has to get the hell on out of here. Shikuchi on forward. He'll be fine at least, but another case of like, well, at least the Weaver survives, but...
Yeah, no, that one was just bad.
Whoa! Monkey came right in.
Well...
I don't think he expected him to be there, I guess. They still want this go, but if it leads to a kill, though... Oh, this is definitely worth it. Yeah, the time lapse immediately. He gets the dust off at least.
He should be fine.
We said that before. He almost died. But yeah, now he's actually good.
Yeah.
Oof, that was scary. Middle lane, here the lasso going off. There's a press the attack, though, in response, and here comes the duel now as well. So Batrider this time, he's the one that's going to go down. So well played right there. Lycan is caught. However, he is too deep, I want to say. Tusk, he has a different plan, though. He still goes in. Walrus Punch comes out. But again, Pycat should still survive. Nice Icarus dive away from Fiverr, meanwhile. Although Dendi, again, this has just been his play style. He's still looking to go back in, and for good reason, he's still 21 charges on that Bloodstone, so why not? He wants more, damn it. This is looking a lot like the first game, man.
Dire's middle tower.
With the Storm Spirit,
it really is. I mean, exactly. It's looking like the first game because Dendi has impact. Game 2, he really just didn't have that same pop, and this game he's going off. I mean, that's a 21 charge Bloodstone at 24 minutes. He's huge.
Meanwhile, Lena, she's down to 4. She had to sacrifice herself even. And she's trying to build that Shadow Blade. Again, I guess the China region has definitely been doing this as of late on Lena's. And she's going to follow that here, but goes back to the Bloodstone. It's a nice stat still, and the potential to add back up. And, man, being down to 4 charges at 25 minutes in, that's got to be so brutal.
Yeah, this is more of the old use for Bloodstone. You're just using it for mana regen to farm at this point. Like, okay, I've got some sustain. Let's go farm the jungle, get to 2 or 3 more items. It's just, what are they going to have to be for this to matter? Like, BKB helps, but there's still Wukong's command bashing you like crazy. There's still lasso. Like, the Wukong command there was the fight breaker for Navi. That fresh basher just did so much work.
Meanwhile, Lycan, he gets out of the jungle as they're smoking in. He has a Shadow Blade now himself.
Both teams are smoked.
Here we go. Another fight to be had. LC, he did not get the duel off, though. In comes the Wukong's command. Zoning them out completely. Supernova's put down. He stumbles into it, though. Uh-oh, that's not the plan. LC goes down, and so does Tusk. He was just simply trying to help them, keep them alive, and then Lena was picked off. Again, Seneca, I feel like Seneca was hunting G this game again.
Oh, yeah.
The whole time. Picked him off throughout all that.
Yeah, the 2 big traits in game 1 were Dendi getting big, getting a nice early Bloodstone and keeping it, And Seneko actually having impact as well. Game 1 on the tree, he was super effective. The Blink Dagger came out insanely early. And with the Tranquil's Blink, just set up so many kills for Dendi. And this game, even more impact. Just made G's life miserable post like 15 minutes.
Oh boy, Warlock chaotic offering is up, but unfortunately, well, he had a kind of a window right there, but again, no one else really nearby yet. Still resurrection's happening, so not worth committing. And also the Dire Courier just gets picked off, so a couple of wards on there. Not the biggest deal, I guess, but
I don't know if you saw the video on Reddit yesterday. Dendi was streaming and like went away to go get something in general, sat down at his computer and traded himself one of Dendi's Arcanas. So maybe Dendi's just rage feeding couriers because of it. We saw one at the end of last game too.
Traded him one of his Arcanas. Wow.
Yeah. He gifted it with a dedication that said like father in Russian or something.
Hilarious. Well, Storm Spirit now 23 Bloodstone charges. Orchid picked up. Shiva's coming up next. Another dominant game for him once again. I mean, this Weaver still does continue to farm very well. We haven't really talked too much about his build. I mean, the Lincolns, the Dragonlance, it's kind of the go-to. The no boots even.
The problem with running carry Weaver is if he's not way ahead, top net worth by a long shot, you start to wonder what it can do. Like a Weaver's goal would be in this game to go pick off the tree or the Bat Rider, like the squishier heroes. And he's quickly losing the ability to do that. Doesn't have a Deso completed, is going to be picking up a Maelstrom instead, which is a good damage item, but just doesn't have the impact he needs. He's not going to be able to sit there and man fight the Lycan, ever.
Well, meanwhile, top lane LC, he loses that exchange right there. Couldn't even get his duel off or get away at that point. Just zip-zapping around. Again, from Storm Spirit and then Bat Rider assistance with the lasso. More than enough to take him out, so that Orchid also coming into play. As you see, they're still pushing this top lane. In fact, Lena has to be careful. 2 Bloodstone charges, man. It's going to make it 1 here. Has support coming in, though, so yeah, they're going to port back and try to actually catch the Weaver. But, oh, maybe they still will, though. Denny's still chasing. There we go. Time lapse backwards. Kind of go the other direction. He's going to be caught, though. Balance strike, initial stun. They get the Lincolns taken off. He is silenced up, and he will go down. 70 seconds he's dead for. He does have a buyback, but that's a long duration here.
Yeah. Without the Weaver, you don't want to buy him back. The second you buy him back, you're committing him to not do damage for the majority of this game. And then you're on the back of G, who is going the AC build. I like this a lot. It protects him a little against Lycan while still upping his damage output. But it's just going to take this perfect string of things to make this okay. It's going to take like a 5-man rock into bonds into like a 4 or 5-man overwhelming odds.
Yeah.
It's looking very rough. And as Dendi finishes up the Shivas, it's going to get even harder.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Tower
Maybe
falls.
if their courier wasn't dead.
That's true. Probably would be able to finish it here, but no, it doesn't have the gold for it anyway, so courier does come back up, though. And then it's going to take more resources away from the other side. LC, excuse me, actually, Lycan actually almost has that Silver Edge now in full.
Yeah, he does. That's going to be really nice, especially against the LC. And just, if he gets dueled while he's Silver Edged, you disable the Moment of Courage. Takes a lot of the pressure off.
God, this monkey can't.
I'm curious to see if Dendi can break the modern record for Bloodstone charges, I think, is 31. And he's closing in on that rapidly. I think that was Ana with OG at Kiev.
I feel like it has to be more than 31.
Well, it didn't used to start with 12.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
but we're talking about a lot of competitive games. I guess it depends on what tier of competitive games you're referring to. Like,
True. I mean, I'm sure there's been some, like, tier 3 games where someone's hit, like, 80 charges, but one death just cuts them out so much. Takes a near-perfect game. Now, look at this, though. They're trying to sneak in Aegis.
Dendi goes in. Now he gets hit by the chaotic offering immediately. However, Tusk is found. Lassoed on up. The Wukong's going to be put down. Tusk will be the first victim of this fight. Roshan goes down. The Aegis is picked up by Dendi. He gets a kill in Afterlife as well. And now Lena just trying to keep her distance here as she gets 1 kill, but she is trying to run. That's not going to work against a Lycan in that shapeshift, however. Guess what? We've seen this before. Weaver the only one alive. Now he does get the Aegis used onto Dendi right there, but he's coming back up very quickly. Time lapse is ready to use, and will not even come into play as he skitters on out of there with such Shikuchi. So Aegis at least gets burned right off the bat, but yeah, the Vega Squadron, they do have to take risks, so. But it's,
and they had the rush pretty low. I mean, Dendi with a good job of just hard initiating into it and forcing Vega entirely off the rush. They knew if they finished the 1000 HP Roshan, fight was already over. So well executed there. Even though Na'Vi has a big enough lead, they could run their faces into Vega.
Top lane.
Still good to see the aggression.
What was on that courier? That was a plate mail for Silent, actually. The plate mail for Warlock. That just got destroyed for the time being.
Yeah, he's trying to go Lotus. I mean, that wasn't a bad rock bonds either. That wasn't a terrible initiation from Vega. It's just they're totally lacking the damage. There's 2 Bloodstone charges on Lina. And pretty much just Shadow Blade Bloodstone at this point. That's not enough. Ooh, Aloha in trouble.
He's dead trouble. Lincoln's ain't gonna save him here. He tried the TP out. He's dead for 75 plus seconds. And he does not have a buyback this time. So Monkey King ends up finding him. And the rest follow suit. You go up there, get the kill. And this could be a death ball push now from Na'Vi. As they're going to make their way to the middle lane, and looks like that's what they're going to choose to push out here. Yeah, whether they know he doesn't have a buyback 100% or not, they're at least going to try to force it, but as we see, he's dead for 45 more seconds here. So they got quite the window. This should at least be the middle racks. I can't see them defending. No chaotic offering for 30 seconds. Yeah, you almost just give this up if you're Vega. You have to be very careful.
If you give it up, though, what's your win condition? What do you try to go for? When do you hold?
Well, they're not even going to get the choice. Na'Vi says, we're going to take the fight to you deep in the base, but it might not matter in the end. Warlock and Tusk go down. LC just simply on the run. He has a duel even. Can't even get it off. Lina's dead. She buys back immediately. But yeah, I mean, they did not have a choice. He just basically made the decision for them. Jumps pretty deep.
I'm liking what I'm seeing out of. Wow, Dendi finally down. The Bloodstone cut down.
Only 21 charges now.
He's gonna go for the YOLO jump here, isn't he? Come on, Dendi. Give me like the half map jump in.
He's walking back. They get the racks.
You know you want to. You know you want to turn this.
If they chase this, they got to be really careful about that potential.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Seneca hiding.
I'm liking what I'm seeing out of this Na'Vi roster. There's glimmers of hope here. They have multiple star playmakers on this. Pycat was doing a lot of work on the Lycan. Dendi is trying to make plays himself and doing it very well. Generally, then it will get aggressive when he feels like he can. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. It's just I'm hoping they can piece it all together into something coherent against more. Not to say that Vega's not a premium team, but international competition. We all want to see some sort of a rise of Na'Vi again. It's just a legacy. We want to see the dynasty back.
I've always been a fan of Dendi. Again, never been a caster of sorts until much more recently, but always been a watcher of Dota 2. And obviously, Dendi's just a lovable guy. It's hard not to like. So just for the success of him alone and the team, it would be fun to see. I agree. But, it's obviously been a tough challenge here against Vega Squadron overall. But, yeah, they're in a very good spot to move on to the playoffs here, securing this Game 3 and going to do even more at the top lane. Tusk, he gets found. So, yeah, they're really just being desperate here as Vega. And they're going to go as 4, actually, smoked up. Running up here towards them.
I still remember, it was probably 2 years ago at TI, they did these autograph card things where you got an in-game autograph if a player handed you one of the cards and could tie it to an item. And, Dendi was goofing off, handing them out when he could, and Ice did not ever go do it, and just, refused to. Oh, we got an initiation.
Yeah, top lane up here. Lycan going to be locked out by the duel, but duel is won by Lycan. Got to say, pretty damn easily. Yeah, this is 100% over. Just throwing the towel, man. You're not winning this
anyway, the very last day of TI, Dendi's like, quit being a pain in the ass, and grabbed his whole stack of cards, Ice's whole stack, and drug him outside. And they gave him out for 3 hours, just goofing off, talking to whoever wanted to come up to him. I mean, really, just a super nice guy too.
Yeah,
and it's always fun to see those kind of people.
There we go. GG, well played. It will be official, and Na'Vi, as the team, going to be moving on. Deservingly so. Again, it was a grind of a series. Definitely not a free victory by any means. Vega Squadron, hell of a fight, but the road's going to end here for them for the Summit 7 qualifiers at least. So congratulations to Navi, however. Definitely
so
deserving.
We got a CIS semi coming up here. Empire Navi is going to be the game tomorrow.
Yeah. That's actually pretty fun.
Back CIS games.
That's a fun setup right there. Again, we got one more team we need to figure out, and as mentioned earlier, that will be the early match tomorrow that got rescheduled. So gonna have to wait for that one.
What time will that be, Reiki? Will that be the same time as this one?
See, I don't know. I don't even know if they know 100% just yet. I want to say it's gonna be an early game because obviously if it's set up to be the first of 3 series, I want to say possibly 7 a.m. Eastern. What would be 1300 Central European time. But I mean, don't quote me on that. I don't even know if it's even 100% just yet. So, okay, I'm looking back now. Okay, I was informed that actually. Okay, so yeah, it should be at that 1300 Central European time. mousesports versus Prodota looks like is set to happen there, and then that should be followed by the playoffs, which again Empire versus Navi, and then the winner of that versus Alliance. The mousesports Prodota, that is. However, I don't know if those have 100% been scheduled yet either. So again, they are having to kind of adapt with all these other events going on. So I can't guarantee any schedule right here, but right now that's
either way. We do know we'll be back tomorrow. We will have some Dota.
Yeah.
Make sure to come check it out.
At the very least, that one series earlier on. So there you go. But that does mean for today, we are going to be wrapping things up. Z-Rock again, only the one series here. But still some good Dota we got to see here. Best of 3 going the distance, always fun. With all that said, though, any shout-outs, any final words from yourself, man?
Oh, I just want to give a shout-out to the aspiring Croatian caster we've got in chat. I noticed him talking a little bit, and I was PMing in between games. And, yeah, man, keep the scene going. I mean, there's always room for more growth. Lacoste did it. And, we've seen him now.
Does this guy have a name?
Yeah, it's Dota Vecchi in chat.
All right. There you go. Shout out to him. Well, as far as myself, going to be wrapping up. Again, guys, looking forward already to tomorrow, though. And should be a fun matchup that we have there. mousesports versus Prodota. Prodota's looking really good lately. mousesports, a little shaky, not going to lie. I would actually favor Prodota in that one with how later results have been. But mousesports definitely has shown and, of course, has plenty of potential to also advance on. So it's going to be a fun finish there. And then after that, of course, we will have our 4 teams in the playoffs. So definitely look forward to tuning in to that. Again, 7 a.m. Eastern, 1300 Central European time. We got some early Dota 2 here for the Summit 7 European qualifiers. But we